Hey guys, welcome to another show, the Coalition Radio. And this is Eyes on Pawtucket with your host Pat Ford, Lynn Fernelli, and myself, Christine Bento. And don't forget to go on YouTube and go to the Coalition Radio and click like, share, and subscribe. And make sure that if you have a couple extra dollars on you, you want to donate, to help out what's being done over here, just go right ahead and do that because there's a lot of work being done by Pat. He's all over the state every day. If you watch, it's like hourly. He's at a different location. You never know where he's at. Always doing wonderful work, supporting all the voices in the community. And we're here with Eyes on Pawtucket. Dimitri is off for this week again, but that's okay. Lynn and I will hold down and Pat, and we're just here to update you guys what's been going on in the city of Pawtucket. It's a very busy city, although it seems quiet. But there's always something, going on. It's almost like a circus going on over here. But we're keeping you guys updated. And we haven't been on for a couple of weeks, but we've been busy working behind the scenes trying to get some things done. So Lynn and I will update you guys, and Pat will tell us a little bit about what's been going on, statewide. So hello, guys.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for the props. I just got in a few minutes ago. Had an amazing meal. We were going to be doing a story over the next day or so. You should see it about La Casona. It's a restaurant at 768 Broad Street in Central Falls. Had one of the most amazing meals of my life right in downtown CF, Central Falls, for the uninitiated or the potential Rhode Island traveler. Central Falls is a community that's known for being a working class, solid town. It's very Latin American and Central American, and has been for many years. A wonderful community there. And we'll talk at the end of the show about Central Falls Pawtucket Restaurant Week and what folks can do to support community at a time when restaurants need your love. But to make the point, there are amazing restaurants in Providence. There's amazing restaurants in Narragansett, down in Westerly and in the South Coast and in Cranston. But I think it's time to promote what's going on in Pawtucket and CF because dozens of nations in a handful of blocks, first-generation cooking. We'll get into it, Chris. But wow, holy cow, I was blown away by this spot. Gorgeous little spot, kind of a must-go-to. But it's great to be back with you guys again.
Yeah, nice. What's up, Lynn? How have you been?
I've been good. I've been super busy.
Uh-oh.
Have you been behaving?
Behaving always. Always. Yeah, we got a few things. We have a few things going on. We'll discuss a few, I guess, tonight. And some things we won't discuss yet. But, it's always busy, like you said, in the city of Pawtucket. Things going on.
I think Pat's going to get a kick out of what happened this week with some of the phone calls you made. So I'll just let you go right into that and give him the heads up and let him laugh a little bit. I got a good kick out of it.
Okay, just give me 1 second, okay? I'm just going to grab my card. Okay, so the other day, we've been talking a little bit about the affirmative action and everything. So I had gone on the charter, the city charter, and I looked up the, affirmative action coordinator, and there's a long list of duties, for this affirmative action coordinator. So I called down the city, the mayor's office. Well, first I called human resources because I figured that would be a great starting point. So I called and I did extension 275, which I think is Lisa O'Connell. She didn't answer the phone. I put in 332. I think that's Sarah Miranda. Yeah, she didn't answer the phone either. And then I put in extension 235. I believe that's Diane Agostini. No answer there either. So I figured, well, you know what? I'm going to call the mayor's office because I really just wanted to know the name of the affirmative action coordinator because I wanted to see their files, for the last, 8 years, because the charter clearly states that anyone can go down and view all the files that are in the affirmative action meetings and paperwork and everything. So I called Donnie's office, and the girl that answered the phone, her name is Sandra. So Sandra answers the phone, and I asked her for the affirmative action coordinator. And she was unsure what that position was. She didn't think that they had any position like that because she had never heard of it before. But
oops.
So I had to ask her, well, what is your name and what position do you hold there? So she went on to tell me that her name is Sandra, and she's the executive administrative assistant. So that took me by surprise because I thought Dylan Zalazo was, but I could have been wrong. So I asked her, what position does Dylan Zalazo hold? And she said, hold on, let me look it up to see what his position title is. Dun-dun-dun. I thought I was being punked. She is the executive administrative assistant, and she had to look up the title of the director of administration. So I'm thinking,
Who's her boss?
Dylan Zalazo is probably her boss, but she didn't know what his title was. So in the meantime, so I didn't get a reply. I went on a chain email that's going on, and we had a little bit of fun with it because Sandra, the executive administrative assistant, she don't know much about the city, but she was correct.
I mean, I'm
she was
wondering
correct.
who hired her. If Dylan hired her as his assistant, she doesn't know who Dylan is. I think we have a problem.
But I think that the other thing is, I mean, we have well, we'll get into because I have a few more titles here that make no damn sense. But so anyway, so I had sent an email, and Christine had sent an email because we really felt that, I mean, she didn't even know what an affirmative action coordinator was, never mind who her boss is. But anyway, we'll move on from that. So I guess the person that's going to handle this, my questions about her affirmative action, is handled through human resources, and it will be this. What did I say her name is? Miranda, Sarah Miranda. Well, she drew the short straw for that phone call. But anyway, I do have to back up a minute. When I was talking to Sandra, I told her, she says, oh, let me call down to human resources, because she had no idea. And so I said, well, wait a minute. I just called all these people. I called Lisa O'Connell and Sarah Miranda and Diane Agostini, and nobody answered the phone. And she said, well, let me get back to you. I'll call down there because they'll answer for me. Not that they won't answer for you, but I could probably, get them quicker. So anyway, so I did get from Cassandra Flores, I did get an email saying, thank you, for inquiring, about the affirmative action. And I guess they're going to run around now and try to find 8 years worth of paperwork so that we can, is anybody looking at this? I mean, I do have some paperwork from 2018. And I believe at the time, the fire department had 1%, which was actually one person that was not white on the fire department. And I think that the police department, I don't know, they say that they have 10%. And, Christine, I figured it out. I have to tell you, reading through the charter, it actually says that they're supposed to use minorities and women in their promotions, their advertisement for jobs and things. That's why we're seeing the same people over and over, because they have nobody else. So they're using over and over the same people to promote to work for the city and come work with, the minorities, because we have 3. So I don't think that their affirmative action plan is working, and I don't think it's been working for the last 8 years. So what I'd really like to do is go in and take a look at, everything that they have as far as their affirmative action. But with doing my research.
Well, before you go any further, Lynn, can you just explain to Pat what the policy is, how we can actually go down to City Hall and sit there and review these documents somehow?
Oh, absolutely. It's part of the charter that, I can make a request and make an appointment, and we can go down and look through that. It should be all public record except for disciplinary action. So it's not like it has to go through Frank Milos, which, usually his hands are in everything anyway, but he might do a little stop to that, or Don Grebian. But, I'm going to be surprised if they're actually able to come up with anything. Now, far be it for me. It's been 2 days. They might have some people sitting down there writing up, paperwork as we speak. But this affirmative action plan is obviously not working. And we need to look at the paperwork to see why. Why are we, at a standstill with hiring minorities in the city and everything like that? So going back to my little research here. So Sandra, the executive administrative assistant, I'm not surprised that she answered the phone, because that's where she belongs, answering the phone. Anyway, Dylan Zalazzo is the director of administration. The deputy director of administration, we've got 2. Did you know that? We've got 2 deputy director of administrations. One is Carlos Lopez Estrada, and Wilder, I can't say his last name, but Wilder has a very interesting little history there, because before being hired with the city, he served a number of elected officials, including Diosa and Sandra Cano. But anyway, so we also have a resident concerns or media inquiry, which is Emily Rizzo. We have Cassandra Flores. We have, who's that other one? Who's that other one that I just wrote down? We've got a whole bunch. Oh, here we have Elizabeth DeMora Morera. We have all these people, but yet when I ask a question, nobody's got an answer. We have all these people. Christine and I, Chris, wasn't it funny the other day? We were trying to figure out if we have, since the last time we were down at the city, have we put an extension on that second floor? Because where do all these people sit?
Yeah,
we have no idea.
What did you say?
I mean, they must bump in.
I was gonna say, let's check. Let's subpoena or do an APRA on Netflix and see what their viewing times were over the last 30 or 60 days. Just saying.
Yeah, that's what
because the office, second floor mayor's office, also has a secretary.
Of course.
So,
right. She had
the secretary.
And then you got the conference room, and you got the chief's office. I mean, it's not a very big office. I'm wondering if if they're sitting on each other's laps. But we have all these people, and nobody even knows who. You know what I'm thinking now that I'm looking at this paper? Maybe Sandra or Wilbur or whatever.
You just named the city hall staff. Along with the city hall staff, we just had 24 people appointed as the mayor's advisory board. These are other people too that also can answer questions but don't. Now God knows how many of them there are.
Hold on, I have my hand up, because one of the new hires, this Cassandra Flores, I wrote to her a few weeks ago because I was looking for the meeting minutes for the July meeting. She hasn't gotten back to me. I wrote to her in February because they were asking for some information about, questions or concerns that people might have with the police department. That was in February. She has not answered any of my questions. Now, with that, you have to understand that when Frank Milos doesn't answer questions, so when he doesn't answer questions, you have to put it in the form of a document. So all the questions that I had for her that she ignored are now documents that people have to run around different departments to actually obtain documents that would answer my questions. So instead of you telling me when someone's last day was, I have to ask when I have to ask, for their payroll for the last year. Or instead of just answering me how many lawsuits are pending for the city of Pawtucket against the Pawtucket Police Department, I now want all the documents for every lawsuit so that I can see them, because he won't answer, well, we've got 5. So now I want, I want all the documents for all the open lawsuits for the city of Pawtucket against the Pawtucket Police Department. See, this Cassandra, her being hired, just gave Frank Milos more work because she doesn't want to answer me. And I'm sure that it's Don Grebian that's telling her not to. She can't answer me. The Pawtucket Police Department can't show up at my house unless I block my number, don't say my name. All these services that I don't get, I feel bad because most of the time I'm looking for information so that I can share it with my community. And, Don Grebian, I'm sure he has his hand in that. It's so funny because not that long ago, in fact, there was a minority girl that worked in Frank Milos's office, and I actually got to speak with her after she was fired. And she actually confirmed to me that Frank Milos wasn't allowing her to speak with me because for whatever reason, I don't get to speak with people. But anyway, so that's where we're standing. We have an affirmative. Well, that's a little racist, but this affirmative action coordinator, I'm thinking Sandra, the one that answered the phone, would be a good suit for that. I mean, because she's got to look up people's names and find out what their titles are. So the affirmative action coordinator, I'm going to say we don't have one because there is absolutely no way. The director of human services, which is this Sarah Miranda, there is no way she's holding both of these positions. There is no way. When you look at the city charter and you look at everything and all the reports and all the meetings and everything that affirmative action coordinator is responsible for, there is not one. There's no way that this woman is getting all this work done. There is no way. I would say that's why she's not answering her phone. But I think that she just drew the short straw and said, we're gonna stick Lynn Farinelli on you to figure this out because we're just not going to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So besides that, I think that that's where we stand. We don't have one.
If you go on their website, they're hiring an assistant for that. Human resources, right?
Yeah, I believe, yes. I believe we are. And at some point, I'm sure that Sandra is going to get an assistant too, because everybody gets a deputy or an assistant or something.
Yeah. We got assistants for everything.
I would really...
Pat, did you know that Pawtucket is one of the only cities that has two assistants in the superintendent's office?
Wow. I mean, it would be interesting for someone to do an APRA, because I'm assuming it's not on the website, of what are the job descriptions of the city hall staff.
I would like to know the job description of Don Grebian, because it looks like he's got somebody to talk for him, someone to answer the phone for him, someone to do paperwork for him, someone to sign stuff for him. I mean, what is his purpose? If he has to have an assistant. If he has to have an assistant to an assistant and a mayor's advisory board and everything, is he worth anything in this city? What are we paying him for? I don't even understand. I see pictures of him, oh, look at us, we're doing this or we're doing that. Come on, Not 1 minute is being put into any of the things that he shows up to. He shows up for that photo op, and other than that, he decides, I'm going to hire somebody to handle that. Oh, Lynn Farinelli wants some answers. Oh, well, have Sandra answer them. Oh, Christine, you want answers? You're at the CU4PC meeting. He's just going to hire somebody. He's going to hire a mayor's advisory board. All this stuff is crazy. It's crazy. What does our mayor in the city of Pawtucket do? And when I call as a citizen concerned about where our affirmative action coordinator is, the person answering the phone should know what it is and then direct me to their line. I don't even know what we're doing in this city. Is it really a case of, Don's just doing whatever he wants and he hires anybody to answer to any questions? I can tell you they're not answering to me. Now, maybe they're busy answering to everybody else, but I doubt that that's the fact, that's a fact.
Because they're not answering to me either. And then, Pat, thanks again for a couple weeks ago when you showed up when I was doing the public input. I did ask for the documents again. I also asked that the council try to see if we can get the fee waived. Towards the end of my input, I mentioned that. So it should have at least be put on their agenda for their following meeting. Just an update for you, Pat. They did not put it on their agenda. And as a matter of fact, they tried to convince each other once again that it was out of their jurisdiction to vote on something like that, to waive a fee. But mind you, the president of the council, Moran, who had a stabbing happen in a club in his district not too long ago, he put a proposal on the table so that that particular club in his area can get free FREE police detail to keep that club safe. Mind you, this is a club now that makes money and can pay for their own security or their own police detail on the weekends to keep their patrons safe. But we have a councilman who was a president of the council who put it on the table to get free police detail. So meanwhile, they waived the fee for a nightclub owner that wants a service and the taxpayers have to pay for it. Yet they were discussing that a fee for an APRA request made by a community member who pays taxes is not in their jurisdiction. Pat, can you make any sense out of that for me?
No, just not at all. Not at all.
It's interesting when they want to waive fees, when it's their money, and when they take 1 point. And I'm going to get into a little bit of something else, and then next week we can talk more about it. Lynn, I'm sorry that I'm getting a little bit off course, but it's interesting that the council can decide that they can ask the school department for $1.3 million to go towards city bills. School department gives them that money in hopes that, they'll somehow get it back somehow. Now, parents who want to put their children in public homeschooling, which should be paid for by the city, it can't be paid for by the school department because it's not in the budget, because they never got that money back from the city. Or nor did they get enough, nor did they budget to be able to pay for some of these kids to be homeschooled. So the option to homeschool is there, except for in Pawtucket, Central Falls, Pawtucket, Cumberland, and West Warwick so far that I know of. A parent can choose the option of the free homeschooling, and they can't have it. The school department won't release the children for homeschooling because they don't have it in their budget to pay for it. Pawtucket doesn't have it because Pawtucket chairperson Jay Charbonneau, who's an idiot, he as the chairperson of the school committee gave the city of Pawtucket $1.3 million. Now we're in September and some kids want to be homeschooled or need to be homeschooled, and Pawtucket doesn't have a budget to pay for that. So the council can make all these decisions as to where our school money goes, our police detail money goes. They can make all these, all that's in their jurisdiction. But one person asking them to waive one $480 fee for a public access report they know they don't think that that's their place. So I might be at the next public input to question that all over again because they don't seem to understand.
Which means I'll
Well,
be
you
at the
have
next
to
public
also
input.
remember.
That's the plan for Pat.
You have to also remember this wasn't one person putting in an APRA for these reports. This was an ongoing meeting where these people sat weekly, for a while there, thinking that they were sitting there in good faith to work with the city and work with the police department. And Tina sat there, lying Tina, and told them that she couldn't do that. She couldn't give them the reports. And that was so far from the truth. And, it just goes back to, we've been very busy this week, with a lot of Tina situations and a lot of school department situations. And, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails and things like that. And, I just feel bad sometimes when I think about all the time that's wasted when Don Grabian can stand up from a meeting and say, I'll just hire somebody to handle this and walk out of a room. You know what? You were hired. You are the hired person and you need to deal with these things. So you do want me to go into the opera, Chris? Do you want me to go into that?
I do.
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Okay. So since then, because we've asked that the fees be waived and, supposedly, they can't do it. Everybody's coming up with an excuse of why they can't do it. So the other day, Rhode Island Accountability did get an email from Lizette. And now you have to remember, this is $480, right? Now, would it break the bank? No, it wouldn't. But we have to also remember, this has been asked for all this time. It's now to a point of, it's more I don't know. If they really wanted to work with these people, if they really wanted to do something, they would have done it by now. So it's kind of a slap in the face that you wasted these people's time, acting like you were going to do something and you did nothing. So anyway, so we got an email from Lizette Gomes. And in that email, she stated that they did ask for the mayor, they actually found him and they asked him if he would, waive the fee on these. And he agreed with the decision of the law office. And so we had asked, how many reports are we looking at? Are you ready?
Yeah.
224 internally generated and 415 citizen generated reports. Now, I happen to know for a fact that 214 citizen generated, there are a lot that were not accepted. They were not taken. Mine is one of them. And actually, it would be a couple of mine because Dolan's would be in there, and actually the Bano one and the Marcial one, those aren't in there either. So when I'm looking at this amount, and we're looking at, what are we looking at? 438 complaints in 5 years. That's a significant amount of complaints when you're looking at a 5-year period in a small city like Pawtucket. So anyway, so she goes on to say that in addition,
if I could jump in, how many complaints is that per police officer?
We don't know. You'll never know what police officer that was. So, and the 224 internally generated, there are probably, and I'm not gonna reveal my sources, but there are a couple of complaints actually that were done internally against the mayor, not mine. Obviously, they were higher up than me. So,
right.
Anyway, so, because they wouldn't take a complaint against the mayor if I ever called. But, well, they'd have to answer the phone first. But anyway, so when we're looking at it, that's a lot of complaints. So when I look at this and then I think about how this group, the CU4PC people, wanted to sit down and work with them and work with the community and try to hash some things out. And, bring some of these people in and sit them down with the police department and say, you know what, I feel like I've been done wrong, for whatever reason, and sit down and hash some of this stuff out. Doesn't always have to go to a level of a lawsuit. It can actually be an apology. Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I was having a bad day that day, and I probably shouldn't have, called you that or said that or whatever. And I'm going to do better, or, some kind of solving problems rather than seeing all these reports. So, I mean, I don't know what the reports are going to, show. So, but the bigger issue here is Lizette Gomes writing to Rhode Island Accountability saying, in addition, we were provided with 224 internally generated and 214 citizen generated reports. Well, they shouldn't have those in the law department. You know why? In the law department, they wanted to charge 15 of those hours for searching and compiling those records. So 15 hours, I think that it comes down to like $210 should be taken off or something, because obviously they did not put somebody to work for 15 hours without getting a prepayment. And on the letter of the cost letter, the original cost letter, it says that the comment in there is, as a result, the city requires advanced payment in the amount of $480 in order to search, retrieve, compile, and redact the records. So you didn't get an advance payment because we're still waiting for a damn waiver, and you put it upon yourself to put 15 hours out there. I can guarantee you it didn't take anywhere near 15 hours, probably didn't take anywhere near 10. I'm going to guess it took maybe an hour and a half for them to push a button on a computer and print them out. And if she already has them in the office, then why would we be paying for them to search and compile something that she already has? So I did write to Frank.
To an average citizen, right? Because on top of that, exactly what Lynn just broke down, right? They clearly already have the paperwork in front of them if they're able to tell us how many they have and what they're for. They've already done the search. So why are we paying them to go do another search? This is all bogus, made up fees that they're trying to just make money off the taxpayer. And guess what? We wouldn't have all these complaints if they were acting appropriately. If the city staff and the police department and whoever else these reports are on were not harassing and bothering people in the city, we wouldn't have that many reports. So now we're paying for it because their actions towards us are sloppy. We're paying for it because someone already got paid a salary to look and search for this information. Now we're just sitting here while the city solicitor's office and the police department holds this information, pretty much dangles it a little bit in front of us, but won't hand it to us when it's public information anyways, demanding that we pay for something because they've got to go look for it. Well, if you're dangling it in front of me, you're not going to look for it. You have it in your hand. Just hand it to me. That's my problem, Pat, is that you already have it. You've already done the legwork. Just hand it over. You already know what's in it. So what makes me think is that there's something that you're hiding if you're giving us such a hard time with handing it over. You've already done the research. You already found information. You, as the city, already knows what's in it. You don't want us to see what's in it. So you're trying to make all these obstacles for us to get this paperwork. So it's almost like we're paying so many times for it. We're paying financially. We're paying, emotionally. The city is like struggling with these issues with the police. All these reports are being made. Obviously, there's a problem because all these reports, that's a lot of reports for a city this small, Pat.
Yeah, that's an astonishing amount. How many police
now,
officers
Pat,
let me just jump in for a second. How many police officers are actually on the staff?
I want to say 160 right now. I think that it's right around that 160.
So how many is that per police officer?
We would never know. We would never know. 20 of them could.
I was just saying, not in the sense of, how many each individual got, but on a per capita basis. If you're
Well,
I mean, holy
and
shnikes.
it's over a five-year period. So, I mean, and Pat, you have to understand that some of these internally generated ones are actually the police chief, having heard something about a police officer, and it's actually not the citizen bringing it, it's internally generated. So it would be maybe a commanding officer, going after a patrolman or whatever. It's a whole array of reports that we're looking for. Now, you might look at that and say, wow, they're going to get all those reports. We're not. I can guarantee you Frank Milos is going to go through those with a fine-tooth comb, and he's going to find some kind of bogus exemption for each one. Now, here's the thing. When he does that, because he's supposed to do a balancing test, when he does that, he better do his due diligence with this balancing test, because of all this this back and forth with the waiver and everything, if there is just one that I challenge that should have been given to us, or one that I know about, and I know about a few, right, Chris? If there's one that's not given, we can go to the Attorney General's office, and if they find him in violation, we're going to get that $480 back anyway. So he can play this game of not wanting, to do a waiver. Now, I have one quick story it's going to just put a big light on this. So back when Tony Pyrus, Tony Pyrus, right? Good old Tony. Anyway, when Tony Pyrus worked for the city, and he was the director of administration, I believe he was the public safety director, and he was basically an empty suit. But anyway, he went to the council meeting one night, and we had just gotten some APRAs, and Dimitri, if he's listening, is probably laughing his butt off right now, because he's never going to imagine that I'm going to tell this story. But so we had gotten a bunch of internally generated, not internally generated, but citizen generated reports. And Frank Milos, for some reason, did not redact quite a bit of information. People's dates of birth, people's names, victims' names, and other people's names. Now, when we got these reports, we were like, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. He's exposing all this information. He can't do this. He should have redacted this. This is private information. Now, this was when we were first starting. I mean, I don't even know how many years we were into it. But so I said to Dimitri, you know what? I got to go forward, and I got to tell them that, they're going to expose a lot of people's information, and they're going to, this is terrible. And one of them was part of a rape victim. And so it was somebody that was sexually assaulted. Anyway, so I said, wait a minute, we need to redact this information. We need, to let them know. So I was at a council meeting that night, and there's, Tony Pyrus. And I said, Tony, I got to talk to you, because, the city is exposing people's information, and, this isn't right. And he looked at me with his pompous ass, and he says, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to somebody else. And I said, okay, but you might want to let them know. And he goes, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So I said, okay. I looked at Dimitri and I said, put them up. We put them up on the website. And of course, we redacted, the sexual assault victim. And, we did the best that we could for those ones, but we did put them up on the website. That was a Wednesday night. Sunday morning, Dimitri gets a phone call and begging us to take those files down. And Dimitri said, well, Lynn tried to warn you guys, and Tony Pyrus didn't want to hear it. And he's like, oh, we thought she was talking about something else. We didn't realize. He's like, can you pull those down? So Dimitri's like, well, I'll pull them down. When you can work with us, we can do that. We'll pull them down. You can get me, the redacted files, go through the files and redact them. He's like, but, on my next APRA, I expect you to take care of me. Frank Milos, of course I will. We never got a bill for the next APRA. And you know why? Because they waived the fee. You know why? Because Frank Milos screwed up. So I guess when Frank Milos screws up, they can waive fees. And I have all that paperwork too. In fact, I have a whole letter that I had sent saying, I can't even believe that you people would, not listen to me when I'm trying to tell you that you sent out a whole bunch of information that you shouldn't have. And pompous ass Tony Pyrus doesn't want to hear it. And Don Grebbia knew about it, but it was the funniest thing because, here's Frank Milos on a Sunday morning being woken up by, police officers and stuff saying, hey, wait a minute, my information is up there, get in there, get them to take that down. Well, you know what? You were able to waive our next APRA, and you know what? You're going to waive this one too. In some way, somehow, this is not going to be paid when all this effort and time and effort and everything has been put in by so many people to get these files. Somehow,
right,
some way, this isn't going to cost the people in the city of Pawtucket. I can guarantee you that, because we are going to go through them with a fine-tooth comb, and we will put a violation in and we will get every dime back. So you can play your games. You can say you can't waive something when you know that you very well can. I think that they should definitely 100% waive at least 15 hours, since they already have the files sitting in front of them. And they would not have put that time in. They would not have put somebody to work for 15 hours if they did not have a prepayment. And as stated in the letter, it says, as a result, the city requires advance payment in the amount of $480 in order to search, retrieve, compile, and redact the records. So you told me right there you needed $480. If 15 hours was already done, you better mark that down, because you got to take it off. There's no way I'm going to pay for work that was already done, that we didn't, when there was no contract on that. We were waiting for a waiver. Who put it upon themselves?
I just get so frustrated when you have a city solicitor and a whole team of people that work for the city solicitor, and they're all supposed to be educated. I say educated on purpose. And bright and professional. Yet, Lizette would make that much of a mistake as to suggest that we owe money for a search that has already happened. She already knows how many of them there are. She probably already has them in front of her. And once again, still trying to charge us for it because she's repeating for whatever the mayor said. Well, if the mayor doesn't know what he's talking about and you're just repeating him, now you look like an idiot too. I don't know how many people follow that direction right there, because there's a lot of people looking stupid right now, thinking you remain silent because the mayor told you to, but yet you hold a position in the city where you should be answering questions appropriately. And Pat, I'm going to tell you, this is why I get so arrogant sometimes purposely when I go down to do public input with the city council. Because as you can see, doesn't matter what we're saying. They're not paying attention to the words that are being spoken. They're paying attention to the approach, the attitude, who it is who's speaking, right? Because no matter what, if they're there to represent the community, but they sit there and they listen to public input, that's what public input is for. They never respond or take action on any public input. I'm starting to question and wonder why the hell they even have a public input session. You can't answer the questions there. You don't answer them at the end. You don't put anything on the agenda to answer them ever. You talk behind everyone's back when you're out of session, trying to convince the whole council that that's not their place to even discuss the matter. When if I go in front of the council and I do public input and I ask for something to be done or I ask for it to put on an agenda, it's because I know that I can. It's because I've already done the homework and know that there's something the council can do. I'm not going there to waste my time or theirs, but they're wasting mine when they sit there acting like they don't know what their position is and they don't know what power they hold. So again, I have to ask the council members of the city of Pawtucket, what the hell are they doing there? Are they only there to vote on licenses for nightclubs and businesses? What are they doing for the regular, everyday community leader or community member that go there and say they have a concern? Nothing. Once in a while, you get a councilwoman or a councilman that cares enough to reach back and say, hey, I'm going to look into this for you. But it's the elders, it's the ones that have been sitting there the longest that say change is needed, that don't want the change. They want to continue to have this little power over all the other councilmen and confuse everybody and make them feel like it's not their jurisdiction to vote or discuss certain matters. Well, I wouldn't be in front of them putting it on their table if I didn't think there was something they can do about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it makes me question what they're doing there, Pat. And this is why, you see, I get very very angry sometimes when I talk to them, because it's like I know that I'm sitting there talking, wasting my time, because it's not even going in one ear and out the other. They're not processing any information at all. And every time the information comes to them, they act like it's brand new information. It's extremely annoying, because they're the ones holding the title, because people trusted them and voted them into the seat, thinking that we knew what they were doing and they're supposed to be our voice. But all they're doing is trying to silence us by remaining silent when we bring things to their attention.
And it's so funny because I never hear, the ones that have been there the longest. You never hear, oh, well, I'm running because I want to make a change. No, they want to keep everything the same. They are not looking for a change. They're looking for twice a month to go and sit there and say yay or nay, that somebody can stay open till 10 or 9, or, special privilege for this one or special privilege for that one. You know what? I started to look into, and I have a lot of emails out and a lot of emails coming in, but Don Grebian's friends, the guild, I guess it is, they got tax relief, and, everybody's getting all their little special treatments. Don Grebian, during the Poor Sox deal, I think it was $130,000 worth of police detail he was giving to them as a handshake, just so that they would keep talking to him. $130,000. Are you kidding me right now? How about giving that back to your community instead of looking at, some billionaire that didn't need that money? They could pay their bill for the detail, and they could make a big, beautiful stadium in Worcester. Guess what? They didn't need our money, Don. They didn't need it. You wanted somehow, some way for them to keep talking to you. They saw that you were a clown, and they were like, yeah, we're hightailing it out of here. And it's just, it's terrible. It's terrible, and here the citizens that are paying the taxes in the city of Pawtucket can't get information that is public record, but yet a billionaire can be given police detail, or a brewery can get a tax relief. Or, how many times has Don Grebian's vehicle been in the shop for car accidents, and, all these things. It's almost like it's a they and them, it's they and us, they get all the stuff that they want. We don't even get the stuff we deserve. And we deserve this APRA to be filled ASAP and given to the people that wanted it originally. And that's where we that's where we stand. That's where we stand,
And I second your motion, Lynn. Thank you so much for the support that you've given to the CU4PC. A lot of us are waiting this paperwork. So, and speaking of, the guild and businesses, hey Pat, you said that it's restaurant week in Pawtucket Central Falls. So when are we gonna get together and go over to the guild and see if the mayor's hanging out over there?
Oh, buddy. So I give hey, buddy, turn that frown upside down.
We actually heard that he has his own stool. Somebody went in there, and somebody that works in there said that he has a favorite stool.
It's kind of worn in or broken in, just right.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So
okay.
what are some of the businesses that are on the list for the upcoming weeks? Do you know?
Yeah, actually, let me bring that up right now. It's a great event. I got to give folks credit for this, and it's the beauty of this. And listen, obviously I love the bucket, but I've got a warm place in my heart for CF. And one of the reasons why is because they've just taken so many shots over the years. All the, the reputational issues from a generation ago about trafficking. And then, of course, you had one of my favorite Rhode Island mayors. I think we need to have a Rhode Island Mayor's Hall of Fame. And I call him more buck for your Chuck Moreau, the infamous mayor of CF, the guy who took board up operations to a new level. He had an astonishingly negative impact on that city. And just to refresh people's memory, what he did, did a couple board ups. This was at the height of the foreclosure and housing crisis. Had one of his cronies do it. And then, of course, there's a little, give and take, a little rub and tug, as they say. And, that's how the magic is made, right? That's how the sausage is made. Well, that turned into basically a criminal operation, to the point where you had situations, it was testified, where he was so eager to send people out to do board ups and charge big bucks for them, for the contractor, and then he would get a few shekels. He was actually looking for places to board up. There was testimony to the effect that allegedly people were going out to look at homes that had been put under foreclosure, and the board up people would show up and board up the house. And anyone who knows anything about real estate understands that you have a boarded up house in your community, your property values just went to crap. And board ups are they breed more board ups. And all of a sudden, you've got no value for the homeowner, no value for the bank if they had to take it over, and you just destroy entire neighborhoods. My contention is that individual set back CF literally a generation. So now you've got folks moving in the community. There's, within Pawtucket, particularly Central Falls, in that one area, you've got 8 or 9 ethnic groups providing amazing meals. And we're talking about Mexican restaurants, Colombian restaurants, folks from the DR, folks from Brazil, folks from Venezuela. I tell my pitch in this video we're doing is that you don't need to go on vacation. Just go to CF for a week and hang out. And there's galleries starting to open up on Broad Street. By the way, this is what happens when you get out of the way and let local entrepreneurial talent take over. There are folks in the Cape Verdean community, folks in the Colombian community, every one of those groups that I mentioned who are entrepreneurs bring their own sweat equity, their family savings to it. And one of the first steps in success and a rise to the middle class, if you want above, is people who want to open up restaurants and people who invest in real estate. So you have this amazing energy going on there. And by the way, the government is staying the bleep out. Because you know what? You don't need to bring in a stadium to build an economy for the people who actually live there. You don't need to, have all these outside investors come in, take advantage of a tax scam and tax breaks, allegedly, and and build it and pray like hell someone shows the hell up. You don't have to do that. So it's I'm looking down the restaurant, and folks, please forgive my brutal mispronunciation of a variety of Latin American, Central American, Hispanic restaurants. So there's La Sorpresa, of course, 723 Broad Street in CF. Had a meal there the other day. It was great. I haven't been Azucena's restaurant. Now that's Salvadorian. That's on Broad Street. Odie's Guatemalan restaurant, 663 Dexter. Of course, Stanley's has got, 535 Dexter Street. Three Amigos, El Paisa, La Herradura, Taqueria, Sparky's, all right? Taqueria Lupita, El Antonio, El Carril, Miriam Tapico, El Paso, Goodfellas Tavern, and of course, the folks I was with today, the fine folks at La Casona at 768 Broad Street, where again I had one of the best meals of my life. So they've all got special deals. They've got breakfast deals. They've got one of the things that I find fascinating is that the restaurant I was at tonight, 3 brothers founded this, family recipes. The 3 brothers are equally skilled in construction, and it's a winning combination because these folks are able to do a lot of the build out on their restaurant, which is a huge, huge saving for restaurateurs. So their hours are incredible. They're open 7 days a week. Some days they're open for breakfast and they have a late dining. So, you could, I'm dying. I'm going to do a sneak up. I'm going to show up unannounced probably tomorrow or the next day and have a Colombian breakfast because it sounds like, I'm a big boy and they make big boy food.
It's good.
So, listen, it's an amazing event. It's a positive event. Let's prove as a community, and this is the word I'd like to get out, that we don't need some big government giveaways to connected billionaires to build an economy. All we need to do is recognize the greatness within ourselves, the greatness within the community, the greatness, the superpowers that people have in our own communities. People just like us. They may have different pronunciations, different languages. Some are brown, some are black, some are white. But we all share a common love of food. We share a common love of Rhode Island. We share a common love of our communities. And let's just go out and help each other out and spend a few bucks on each other because that money recycles. Obviously, I'm passionate. I preach to this issue. You go to, and I keep mispronouncing the name. Forgive me. But you go to the Tavares family. I met Christian Tavares tonight. You go to La Casona, all right? You drop 20 or 30 bucks there. Have a great meal. All right, that money is spent on local vendors. That money is spent on the help there. I met J-Lo, who is the longest-serving waitress. She's been there about 9 years, working for the family. J-Lo gets a tip. J-Lo gets to spend a little extra dough on another business in the community. That money then stays in Central Falls, in Pawtucket, all right, in Lower Lincoln, in Lower Cumberland. That money stays in that community, and it creates wealth for members of that community. And I will tell you, that is the recipe for success to raise communities out of poverty, to create a business class which will then be able to invest. And listen, I'm a capitalist, and I know that's not real popular here in Rhode Island, but what I often say when I testify up at Halitosis Hall in my prior life was that capitalism is the mechanism by which the individual can reach their full human potential. Oh, what? Oh, my God. Capitalism? You mean that means I'll make money? Oh, no. What'll happen? Well, you know what? Here's how it works. It's pretty damn simple. Somebody manages to raise some money. Very often in the variety of Latin and Central American communities, it's from family, right? People raise some money, and they make a business, and they make some money. Guess what they do with some of their money? They invest in somebody else's business. And they make money off of that because that's the reason they're doing it. It's either family money. And then, hey, we've got another business. Crazy, huh? That's employing people in the community. And then, you know what? It's just the love, they call it the multiplier effect because the money multiplies itself time over and time over and time by, again, supporting people in our communities. It's up to us to be successful despite the best efforts of the governments of places like Pawtucket. Or, by the way, here I am. We're very Providence-centric in this state. We talk about the restaurants in Providence. Guess who I meet on the way in the door? Mayor Jorge Elorza is hanging and banging in CF, having supper on Broad Street. And we laughed and we had a nice chat. But holy cow. So the mayor of Providence knows where to chill. There you go, bud. So that's my.
That's awesome. But once, we let everyone know from here on Eyes on Pawtucket, support the locals. With all this stuff that's been going on with the COVID, a lot of people closing down, and we still got some people actually opening up new businesses and taking their chances. So definitely want to show some love and support to some of the locals. Pawtucket needs to have more. I mean, Central Falls is so small. And if you just drive down Broad Street and Dexter Street, you see how many, businesses they have. They're good. The community is just taking care of itself and each other. We need to have more of that going on here in Pawtucket. There's not many opportunities, but hopefully people will just get smarter when voting. We have a team of councilmen that are working against the community. We have a administrative team that's working against the community. We have a mayor who's, instead of trying to fix his city, he's actually working very hard to destroy it. Unfortunately, they all play that same political game, right? Smile on your face, pose for a picture, and you get fooled thinking they're doing all the right things to make us proud. Where behind the scenes, there's nothing but ugliness going on. And I really, really want to take this opportunity to thank people like Pat Ford, Lynn Fernelli, and Dimitri, and everyone else out there that's trying to bring light. We're not trying to, you know, dig a hole and put the city in it. We're not trying to say I'm proud of my city, right? But I just think we can do better, and I think that's what most of us are doing out here. Just bringing information to those who vote and who have a voice and who can use it to make it become better, right? As one, as a whole. Let's not trust just the administration or the council people to do it for us because they're not doing it. They actually like the way it is right now. It's very comfortable for them to be able to sit there and do nothing and collect the paycheck, fooling us that something's getting done. We have to get out there and either do it or force them to do it if we're actually going to vote them into seat. So thank you again, Lynn Farinelli, for all the work that you do, especially behind the scenes, girl, and all the support that you give to the community. And Pat, I can't say enough about what you do for the entire state. You're everywhere. I've watched you. I saw you pop up all over the place. Was it yesterday or today? I saw you in one location. I called in and I said, "Hey, Pat's over here." And I go to go log in again. You were somewhere else, and I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. Nope. Now he's over here." And it's amazing. It's amazing what you do. Um, and all the businesses that support the coalition radio, definitely go onto the YouTube page and check out the Facebook page, and you will see the businesses that support him. Pat, we need to show them some love too, and we definitely need to show Pat some love so he can keep doing what he's doing, and that we can continue to come on shows like this one, that was created to kind of bring information to the different cities. Pawtucket has very unique issues going on, people. It's not every city that has the same things happening. Providence has its own unique set of issues, some more important than others. Um, Pawtucket, some of what we talk about might not interest you, but believe you me, it's all connected. If you're talking about crime, it's connected to the city hall. Okay? I mean, crime has to happen somewhere in the city. So if you live in Ward 5 and 6 and Woodlawn, and you're noticing there's a lot of crime going on over there and God knows who's going to do something about it, it's by design. Okay? You can't have the crime happening over by Donald Grebian and the mayor's neighborhood. It can't happen over there. It's got to happen somewhere. Crime has to happen somewhere in order for the police to have jobs. So no matter what it is that you're interested in, it's all connected to the city hall. And unless you guys smarten up and start to make some moves, nothing's gonna happen. So make sure you vote the right people. And hey, we have another election coming up December 7th, actually, for Ward 6, which is Fairlawn, District 6. Tim Rudd's gonna be stepping down. Definitely, look into that election. Make sure you vote properly. We got Pat St. Germain that's running. Awesome, awesome person. I would definitely, ask some of you guys to consider her. We need to change the city one seat at a time until we can make it work the way we need it to work for us. So again, I'd like to thank you guys for all the work that you do. Thank you for all the support that you give to me. And for those of you who are watching the show and maybe you feel like, okay, I don't know why they talk about this all the time. Hey, put it in the comments. What do you want to hear about? Do you have something that you want us to look into? I Lynn and I we're all over the place. Okay, I can talk about the school department. I can talk about the school system. We can talk about just about anything. It's just that this week we're talking about what's recently happening and behind the scenes that you wouldn't hear about unless we brought it to you. And if you have any questions or you're confused about something we spoke about, we didn't give enough detail because ongoing issues, shoot us an inbox. Let Pat know that you want to hear from us, or put the question in the comments and we'll get back to you. Don't forget, I'm going to say this once again. Go to YouTube, look for the Coalition Radio, like, share, subscribe to the page, and make sure that you check out all the little different perks that you can get onto to support the page too. Okay, there's a lot of information on the YouTube page, and go check it out and share with everyone. Let them know that there's a lot going on with local businesses, and Pat's going to be showing you some of the local businesses, I'm sure, for the upcoming weeks. So for you to be able to see what's going on in your community, if you can't get out there as much, hey, watch Pat. He's everywhere.
And hopefully Pat, you'll get down to the city council meeting. If we don't get this APRA, I'm sure that Christine will have a lot to say.
Oh, we'll be there, buddy. We'll be there. Not a problem. Just give me a heads up, and what was it? Say coalition 3 times fast, like Beetlejuice. We'll be there. All right.
Well, thank you so much, guys. Everybody have a good night, and for everyone who's watching, stay safe.
Thank you, guys.
And stay healthy. Pat, you stay safe too, man. You be careful out there. So let us know what you're getting yourself into. We're always a phone call away, my friend.
All right. God bless everyone.
All right. Good night, guys.